Dog, what in the world just happened today? Cucurella to Real Madrid. A La Masia product. A La Masia graduate. Comes back to Spain, but not to be a Barcelona player. Not even to play for Atletico Madrid, who's becoming one of our biggest rivals now. You signed for them, bro. You go from being a La Masia graduate to a Madridista. Hey, man, money talks, man. Money talks. And I know for me being a cooler, being at home, it's easy for me to say I would never make that decision. But when you know that you probably have spent your last game, your last season in England after playing for Brighton and Chelsea, and you always wanted to come back home. Barcelona were one of the teams that were linked, but it was also Atletico Madrid. And I really didn't hear a lot about Real Madrid, I'm not going to lie. And that's why this move kind of shocked me because it came out of nowhere. If you wasn't going to sign for Barcelona and you were coming back home, playing for Atletico Madrid actually would have made a lot of sense. With your tenacity, the grit that you play with, playing under Diego Simeone, you would have been a perfect player. I wouldn't even been mad at that, bro. I'm going to be real. I would have understood it. But Real Madrid, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And look, I'm going to be real, bro. Like, he don't owe anything to us. He don't. At the end of the day, Barcelona decided that we didn't want him. And so he had to go and find life at Getafe. Then he found life at Brighton and got his move to Chelsea. But if it doesn't work out for Chelsea forever, he's going to go somewhere. He's still in his 20s. He's in his prime. Real Madrid needs a left back, especially somebody who they believe can try to handle Lamine Yamal, at least a lot better than Carreras. It's funny that all the signings that Real Madrid made last season, they signed Trent. They now have Dumfries. They signed Hoyson, I think is how you say his name. Now they got Kanate. Then Coeres, who they signed on left back. Now they just got Cucurella. The head coach that they had coming in to lead their new project, Xabi Alonso, is out the door. And now they got in Jose Mourinho. I'm going to be real. I'm not really too worried about Real Madrid's transfer window. If I'm being brutally honest, like, they own some Al Hilal, like, top shit. Like, something that a club in Saudi would be doing. Like, the type of players that they sign. So I'm not really worried about them. I'm making this video and more of just, I'm just disappointed in Cucurella, bro. And again, he doesn't owe anything to any Barcelona fan. He doesn't owe any explanations. But you were the one that was saying in press conferences a few months ago, I'd rather shave my head than to be a Madridista. That's you that's saying that. You know what it means to be a Barcelona player. And the fact that half of that team that you're playing with at the Spanish national team is Barcelona players. You being a former Barcelona player, what in your mind triggered you to be like, I want to be a Madridista? It had to be the money. It had to be the money. That's the only thing I can think of. They probably offered him some crazy amount of wages. One, because they realized the left back situation needed to be addressed. He is an upgrade from what they had, and he fits the type of player that Jose would be looking for. But even understanding all of that, bro, you grew up learning what it meant to be Catalan, learning what it meant to be a Barcelona player, learning what it meant to hate Real Madrid and the shit that they stand for and why Barcelona is completely different. But the fact that you went against the grain and was still like, I'm going to go there. Hey, man, more power to you, man. It's something I wouldn't have been able to do if I was in an academy of any club. Remove Barcelona. If I was an academy player for Manchester United for all of my career, but I never got a chance to play for Manchester United's first team, and then I go and sign for Liverpool, or I go sign for Manchester City down the road, you telling me those Manchester United fans wouldn't feel some type of way? Like, bro, you a United academy graduate. You know what it means to hate Liverpool, to hate City. You can go sign for any club in this country, and you go and sign for them, our biggest rivals. In Spain, it's a little different. If you're leaving Chelsea with the wages that you're on and the transfer fee you were commanding, it was only going to be three clubs that was going to get you: Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona. Once Barcelona put out, we're only going to go for a player like Cucurella if we sell Balde. And I don't know what the case was with Atletico. I thought he would have been, like I said, I thought he would have been a perfect fit. I don't know if they were stalling. I don't know if they had other targets. Somebody let me know in that regards, but that's crazy, bro. That that is crazy. Cucurella, La Masia graduate, going to Real Madrid. Let's talk about what this means. I'm gonna be real. Out of all the teams Barcelona played in the last 2 years, the one that gave us the biggest fit, and maybe it was just because of the circumstances we ended up putting ourselves in, but the team that gave us the biggest fit was Chelsea. And I felt a large part of that was because how Cucurella performed against Lamine Yamal. Now, I do think under circumstances playing at home in La Liga, a familiar environment, going to the Bernabeu or playing at the new camp, you're not going to get Lamine like that again. And understanding the circumstances in that game, Rafinha was missing. Well, he ended up playing a little bit later, but he wasn't the same Rafinha. And I believe there was another player missing. Was it Pedri missing that game? Was it Pedri or was it Frank? Somebody else was missing in that game, bro. Like, we wasn't all the way 100%, but I'm not making excuses. But clearly we were lacking up front. So that put more pressure on Lamine Yamal to perform, and Chelsea knew that. And more importantly, for their case, Cucurella knew that. And so he knew, as long as I don't allow him to breathe, even if I got to foul him up, touch him up, he plays with him in the Spanish national team. He knows his moves and what he likes to do. He's used to going up against him. So he don't necessarily fears him like everybody else fears him. So in that game, I thought he had a really solid performance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he locked down Lamine Yamal, because if that was any other winger, even under those circumstances, you still would have gave that player some type of credit. But because Lamine Yamal has put his standards up so high that you would look at that game and be like, it wasn't his best game. But I don't think that Cucurella pocketed him. But he will do a lot better against Lamine Yamal than Correas. However you say his name. I hate saying his name. No offense to anybody with that surname. It's just I'm not good at Spanish, bro. Let's just be real. But anyway, yeah. So I think that's gonna be a positive signing from Real Madrid, and for 60 million euros, it's really not a lot. I'm not even gonna act like it's a nothing signing because I secretly wanted him. I ain't gonna lie. I think I kind of made my mind up with Balde. I'm gonna be real. It's not to say that I don't want to see him succeed here. I would love to see him to prove me wrong. But I do think he was one of those young players who looked good young early, but he kind of already showcased this is his ceiling. Now, obviously, age-wise and everything like that, still a lot of room to grow. But his trajectory was going like this, and now it's kind of going like this. And at 22, can you get it back up, or is it going to continue to, stay like that? Only Balde can answer that question. But like I was saying earlier, Balde, this is a big season for you. You know that the club was trying to go for Cucurella, somebody who plays for the Spanish national team, a former La Masia graduate, who the club really would have been comfortable with signing. But because of our situation, financially at least, we're like, only way we're going to sign a left back and put that kind of money, 60 million euros, into a player is if we sell Balde. We're not going to sign him, keep Balde, and then try to work out something with Cancelo. It was never going to happen. So that should be your wake-up call, Balde. It should be your wake-up call. I hope it is. We need a big season for you. Hopefully we can get Cancelo back, and we can continue what we were doing at that left-back position last year. And then maybe Joffrey Torrens can get some more minutes going into the new season. Only time will tell. But, like I said, man, back from vacation. Got another one coming up here in a few weeks, but I'm like, I gotta make a video on this because this is crazy. Like, I just really never imagined it. I only was seeing Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. That's all I was seeing. And the fact that he comes back to Spain, his home, but to do it playing for that club in Real Madrid. I tell you what, El Clasico coming up, it's going to be intense, to say the least. Especially when understanding Jose Mourinho's first game back as Real Madrid manager in years, and some of the players that they have brought in who were previously linked to Barcelona. Obviously, just talking about Cucurella. Bernardo Silva is another one who was saying he's willing to wait for Barcelona. Then out of nowhere, here we go to Real Madrid. Dumfries last year, 2 years ago, linked to Barcelona, ends up signing for Real Madrid. We look at Arda Güler, we look at Vinny, we look at Rodrigo, we look at Endrick, we look at so many players. Was Rudiger as well when he was a free agent? It's a lot of players that Real Madrid ended up signing that they were linked to Barcelona prior to. I'll let y'all decide what that means, but I just find that very, very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. But like I said, man, I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. Usually during the summertime, this is the time for me to take breaks, take vacations and all this other stuff. And I got another one coming up. I'm gonna be in New Orleans for a week in July, in the middle of July. But I'm gonna get my career mode going again. Haven't played that in a while. I'm gonna get that launched. More content going consistently. I have been watching the World Cup. If y'all like to hear my perspective on the World Cup, I know I normally do my thing with Barcelona. I kind of just leave it at that. But I have been watching international play, so maybe I'll do a little bit of something with that. But all in all, I'm just trying to get back in the flow, get back into the consistency of posting. And what a video to make coming back. Cucurella to Real Madrid. Definitely let me know what you guys think about that. As a La Masia graduate, do you feel some type of way that he ended up signing for Madrid? Or because he never really worked out with the first team and he ends up going to Getafe and Brighton and Chelsea, that for him, it doesn't really matter. And for us, it should matter. How do you feel on this? For me, I done told you how I felt, but I would like to know your guys' stances because this is mainly a Barcelona channel. Most of us are Barcelona fans. Therefore, seeing a La Masia graduate playing for our biggest rival has to make some of us feel some type of way. So definitely get in the comments. Let me know. Leave a like if you can for me. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And then more content coming, man. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna be on it. I done got my schedule down, man. My job, man, they work me like hell. That's why I had to take the break that I took because when I'm not on vacation on a break and I'm at work, bro, they working me like a dog. But it is what it is, man. That's just a part of being an adult, I guess. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. So until then, man, two toners out, man. Peace.